Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is for you. My name is Steve, aka Bronx and Shy 13, aka Neutral Bronx, and I am accompanied by.
Matt, aka Nerdneck. Welcome everybody to episode 4, the Lost
Number
Full
4.
Podcast. It is Tuesday, March 28th, and we have a lot to go over today, and we have a special guest joining us later in the show.
A very special guest.
Yes, nice special episode for you today. Uh, First of all, we're gonna run through this quick. As I said, we have a lot going on today. So, Lost Full Moment of the Week. Bronx, go ahead.
All right, I will start off my lost full moment of the week. It was 76ers against the Bulls. A bottom team, right? The Bulls are absolutely atrocious. They're fighting
Desperate,
for that. They are
desperate.
fighting. They are fighting for that last play-in spot. Um, so maybe they're showing a little bit of grit. But the 76ers are up in double overtime by I want to say 3 or 4 points. They're controlling this double OT, and then they just lose it. Joel Embiid fouls out of the game. But that's kind of expected. 6 fouls in a double overtime, like you expect somebody to foul out. But whatever. Joel Embiid, he was having a really good game. Fouls out of the game, and they just lose it from there. And the Bulls come back and win in double overtime against Philadelphia, battling for the number 1 seed. Philly is in Philadelphia.
You know what I'm gonna say? Tippable from our Bulls.
Typical.
Very tippable.
And what is yours?
Mine is going to have to be. I was on the bus today, going to my game, and I saw it. I couldn't believe it. The Minnesota Rocker dropped Dylan Attach. I can't believe it. I think this is lost for because I think the Rocker have made a terrible mistake. They bring up I can only assume he's a Challengers player named Fame. Um,
Never
Never
heard of
heard of this guy before. I don't know what roster he was on before this, but I mean, talking about an AR who's been, in my opinion, overall more consistent. Maybe not recently, but overall he has a better career than Cammy, and in his last stage he did a lot better than Bance, in my opinion. I don't know if maybe he's stepping down, he's retiring, or if it's like a he thinks he's the problem, he's stepping down to help the team, or they're they think it was time for a change of pace, and the front office, I guess I don't know whatever you want to call it, chose him. Uh, but yeah, that's my lost full because I think Rocker have lost full by making this decision. We'll see how it works out for them. Right, we have matches starting. What 72 hours now, less than. So excited to get Major 3 underway.
Major four.
Correct, Major 4. Thank you.
Major
Um,
four.
Yeah, so that's the lost full moment. And next, we're going to dive into the world of college basketball, shall
What
we?
a tournament.
Yeah. Wow. Holy, my bracket is shocked. Um,
See ya.
with um, who lost to Xavier? Oh, I'm just
Who
checking the
lost
bracket
to
right now.
Xavier?
Yeah, a while back, I'm saying. Um, yes. So my bracket is destroyed. It was
Oh, Pitt did. Pitt lost to
after
Xavier.
yeah, yeah, after Marquette went out. Um, yeah, my bracket is currently at. I have 0 possible remaining points for this bracket. Um,
Hey, but I will give you a very, very nice little pat on the back. Where's your
I
back at?
told I
I'm
told you
patting you on
I
the back.
told you
That
I
team,
told you
what?
Miami has
Miami.
Miami has veteran players. They have veteran
Yes.
guards. They're going deep in the tournament. Bold prediction: they're winning it all. They're winning it all. I'm telling you right now, if they don't win it all on the next podcast, uh, I'll say I was wrong.
Is that
There you
hard
go.
for you to do?
No, but I'm never wrong, so it's all right. Um, yeah.
Your bracket doesn't
Uh,
say that.
I literally said it in the last podcast. I
Yes.
literally said Houston, Miami. I think Houston is going to win because they can outclass them offensively, but I said Miami has a good chance, and I just went with the net standing overall record, kind of the vibe around the game, and Miami kind of destroys them in a way, beating the number one ranked team in the whole tournament by 14 points. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
They play
Um,
good defense. I mean, Houston only shot 37% from the field. That's
but
kind of,
yeah. How about
oof.
UConn though?
9 for 31 from behind the arc, Houston was. That's yikes. Yikes.
How about UConn?
Do we want to go over Friday's matches? Or Friday's matches? Friday's games? No, or do we go over Thursdays?
We could go over Thursday, Fridays. Yeah, that's cool. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
Thursday,
not that
Fridays.
many. It's only like what, 8 or something.
8, yeah, and Thursday and Friday. Yep.
Michigan State, Kansas State. I think.
What a
Uh,
game.
yeah, yeah, that was a good one. I think we both chose Michigan. I think I remember most of our picks. I think
Yes, yeah, we chose
we
Michigan because I don't like Kansas State.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
I have reasons.
yeah. FAU, Tennessee, another decent one. Um,
I thought Tennessee was going to win this game and
okay,
handily. But this FAU team is surprising me and surprising a lot of people.
yeah. Hmm.
They had a poor night from behind the arc. But I mean, they out rebounded Tennessee, which doesn't really happen. Tennessee bullied Duke.
Yeah,
They
big
beat them up
time.
down low,
And
and
yeah, that's the game that
FAU,
started
I
my
don't know.
downward spiral, actually, from a bracket standpoint. But
Yeah.
Arkansas, UConn. I think we both chose UConn. To UConn has just been slaughtering their opponents in this tournament so far.
Mhm.
Their last two,
They look
this
good.
game, and we'll get to what happens in the Gonzaga game in a moment. But yeah, I kind of, it's one of those where it's like, when you really look back at this team, you sit there and you're like, wow, I'm not surprised now. But if you were to tell me this when the tournament started, I might be surprised. You know what I mean? It's one of those
Mhm,
teams where they're a sleeper, but they shouldn't be. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? They should be
mhm.
on people's radars, but people just kind of brush them off. Then the final game of Thursday was Gonzaga UCLA. I had Gonzaga only because they were moving out of my bracket. They pull out the win by 3 points. Love to see it. Thoughts on that game?
I didn't watch it, but, um, was this the game where people were saying that UCLA got cheated, or is that the next game
Well,
with
it can't be
Gonzaga?
the next game because
No,
UCLA.
because
Well, the
well,
next
not
game
UC
Gonzaga played, they lost.
they got smoked.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah, but that does it for Thursday's games. Friday's
Yeah.
games, San Diego State takes down the one seed Alabama.
Maybe this was the game that people were talking about.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't either. But, Alabama out rebounds them. Uh, Shot horrible from behind the arc. 11%. 3 for 27 from behind the arc.
From
At what
Alabama.
point at what point does the coach just be like, "Take the ball to the basket, boys. Take the ball to the basket."
Yeah, I don't know. We see Miami, like we just touched base on, kind of beat up on Houston a little bit here. I made a bad call in my bracket, but personally, I personally expected this. But when I was making my bracket at 8 a.m., 8:30 in the class before the March Madness started, I didn't think about this. Uh, Princeton, we see the
The
miracle
Magic,
run
yeah.
come. Not they won 2 games, and we said it was because they were playing schools that were comparable to them, and their seating was just a um strength of schedule thing. But no, um, yeah, Creighton's been playing well, and I don't. To be honest, I think they. That's what I thought. Yeah, they end up losing by 1 point. In their next game, we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, we just kind of see it for the first time a team that I think generally outclasses them skill wise and just in this type of play in general. And they just kind of beat a team that while they're better than expected, you were surprised by the 2 wins, but you could understand it when you looked at it. If they were to win this game, I wouldn't understand it. But Princeton's out, and then the final game, Xavier loses to Texas,
Mhm.
dropping out, 83-71. I didn't see this game. Any comments on it?
None.
None at all. I had games during all these games, Thursday and Friday, so I had a game during those games. But
And
Saturday, I watched. the Miami UConn games, but I did not see FAU Kansas. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not. I watched the same games you watched. But
um,
peering at the stats, it just looks like FAU just out rebounds them, doubles them in rebounds, 44 to 22. It looks like they took the ball to the basket and got fouled. They shot more free throws. They shot pretty bad from behind the arc, but they shot pretty well from the other field goals, I guess. But they had 22 turnovers and still won the damn game. How
mhm.
can you turn over the ball 22 times and still win the game? It shouldn't even be close if you turn the ball over 22 times.
That's like a Cuba leaving 24 men on base type stat.
Yes. How? How do you do that?
I don't know. One of those where it's like you're just not converting on your opportunities. Just is unfortunate.
I mean, in K State, I mean, they shot 46% from field goal and 45 from 3-point range. It's not like they were shooting horribly.
I'm watching the end
And
of
I
this
don't know what
San
happened.
Diego game here. Okay, so San Diego knocks down or misses the first free throw with 1.2 remaining. Give you a little recap for everyone wondering. Uh, I'm assuming, yeah, makes the second one. So they the free throw. So that's crazy. They
Is this what everybody was talking
I
about?
believe so. So they make the call. They put the time on the clock. He misses the first free throw, makes the second one. There's 1.2 left, and I believe maybe they had a timeout to use. Whether they didn't, it doesn't matter. Then the officials go, wait, wait, wait. They reconvene and say when the foul happened, there was no time left on the clock, and they lose the 1.2 seconds they had, and the game just ends.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. So that's how the game ended.
yeah.
Who?
That's
So a kid ices up and wins the game on a free throw with no time
uh,
on the clock.
little technicality there.
Were they still on the blocks then, ready for the box out and everything,
No, no,
lined
no, no,
up?
no. So it was double bonus.
That's what I'm saying. But were they still on the box? Like if there's no time
Yeah.
on the clock,
Well,
they
okay, but that's not. No, 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 no. You're gonna think this is even weirder. He there's 1.2 seconds left on the clock while he's shooting the free throws.
the second one
He
too.
he hits the second free throw. He makes it. Then the officials
Call a
huddle
timeout
up
after that.
and say that there's no. I don't know if they call timeout or Creighton calls timeout. But at the end of this video, that's the end of the game that he makes the free throws, and
Mhm.
then it shows them drawing up a play, and then the officials just go, no, no time. And then they go crazy because they won the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna talk about the game. I'll mute up and listen to this real quick to see what they say.
Talk about the next game, Miami,
Yeah.
Texas.
Yep, yep, yep.
So Miami, Texas. Like Matt said in the last podcast, I love the fact that Miami is so aggressive towards the rim. In this game, they literally shot only 8 3-pointers in the game. The entire game shot 8 3-pointers, but they went to the line. They went to the free throw line and shot 32 free throws. Miami goes to the line and shoots 32 free throws,
How many did they make?
28 of them. They were 28 of 32. Uh, Texas
Well, I
shot
mean,
50%.
yeah. When you think
I
about it,
mean,
though, there was only one way to score baskets before there was a 3-point line, and that was 2 points.
this is true, but that for a college team to only throw up eight threes, maybe they know maybe they're playing to their strengths, defense and taking the ball at the rim. Uh, that's impressive. It's really, really impressive. Who's the leader? One guy, Jay Miller.
Okay,
Who's
okay,
the
okay.
leader?
So what happens
Mhm,
is what I said. They make the original call that when they called the foul, there was 1.6 seconds left, right? So it says so. I don't know how much of this I can show so we don't get copyrighted or something, but it says 0-0 there, right?
mhm,
And he's
mhm.
he's on the ground before the free throw, but they
Yeah.
revert it to 1.6 because they claim he when they called the foul there was 1.6 seconds. He
Mhm,
misses the first shot after he makes the second one, they reconvene and determine that when he was fouled, there was no time left on the clock, which is
Wo-
just
wo-
which is just crazy
So
if
it
you
was
ask
a
me.
second review.
I guess I it doesn't show the whole thing, so I don't know if it was a coach initiated or the refs or somebody from New York or wherever the hell their center is called them up and
They
was like,
buzzed. They buzzed down.
yeah, they called the bullpen phone and said, yeah, something's not right. But yeah, that's crazy. I was just looking to see how the game ended with a 1 point win, but
Yeah,
that's unfortunate to see. That's one of those things where like I don't necessarily think the refs did anything wrong. It's just really unfortunate in that scenario that they had to do it a second time to figure it out.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
one of those where you're just kind of hoping that they do that on the first try, but not necessarily. I don't think they got screwed by the refs. I think the refs just made a mistake. Luckily, they didn't make it the other way around, right? Where they say it's 0-0, then give them a second, and they
yeah.
score to win the game. And then the final match, we didn't talk about UConn Gonzaga, right? Gonzaga
Yes,
kind of just gets smoked. Looking here, uh, Gonzaga 2 of 20 from the 3 point line. Like we've been talking about, teams that can't hit their threes, that aren't aggressive towards the basket,
like Miami.
lose.
That was
Uh,
awful.
p- Relatively close in rebounding. UConn is 8 plus 8, which
Hmm.
is a little bit +4 on the offensive side, +4 on the defensive side. They have 8 more assists, 1 more steal, 4 more blocks, only 1 less turnover, and 6 more fouls. Um, I think it's just a matter of
Making your shots. 20 for
yeah,
60 from just in field goals. Gonzaga 33% from the floor.
yeah.
That's a bad night.
Honestly, though, I also think it's a lot of contribution from the UConn bench that you don't see from Gonzaga. You see a guy 13 minutes, 8 points, 16 minutes, 8 points, 12 minutes, 6 points. On Gonzaga side, you have 19 minutes, 6 points, 17 minutes, 5 points, 26 minutes. Over this
Hmm.
guy had played over half the game and he's getting 8 points, the same amount as it took a guy 13 minutes to score. It's half
Hmm.
of that amount of time. And I think it's just you're seeing kind of a production for the bench. Plus, I think once you get to a certain point, you start kind of losing hope, and then it's like, oh, GG from a Gonzaga standpoint. But yeah, just very interesting that a team as formidable as Gonzaga kind of just crumbles like that.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
that's just the way
Saturday.
shit goes.
Saturday, Final Four is set. We got FAU against San Diego
Hmm.
State and Miami against UConn. What do you think? What do you think? FAU, San Diego State. Who do you think pulls it out?
This now, I'm gonna go to the Miami UConn game first because that's gonna be the easier one for me to predict. I'm
Okay.
going Miami. Give me Miami. Those are my boys.
I'm going
Uh,
UConn. I just think UConn's star power is far and far,
I'm
far
telling you, mark
beyond
my words, Miami
Miami.
wins.
But
If
if my
Miami doesn't win, I'll buy a UConn shirt and wear it for 10 podcasts. There you go. That's my bet.
all right,
I mean, oh, really, I don't mind wearing a UConn shirt. I just have to spend money to buy one. So
all right. So then, if Miami wins, I'll
you
buy a
buy a
Miami
Miami
shirt
shirt.
and I'll wear it for 10 podcasts.
I could care less about either college, by the way, just for the record. So let's go back to the FAU San Diego State. This one is a lot closer because we see San Diego State, like we just said, win on sort of a technicality,
Yeah.
and we see FAU kind of smoke their opponent in a way. Not smoke, but you know what I'm saying, beat an opponent that 3-9. They don't smoke them. They only win by 6. But it's a game where it's like they're the underdogs and they still kind of stay strong
Hmm.
and seem to pull it out. Was that the game where they had 22 turnovers? Was
Yes.
that this team? That's
Yeah.
crazy. And this one of those like where it's like if they can win doing that bad, what happens if they have 10 turnovers instead?
Right.
So
Right.
I think FAU's on a roll, San Diego State's on a roll. It's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be a really close game with a San Diego State win or a blowout and FAU wins. That's what I'm gonna say. So I can't tell you who the winner is going to be, but I think FAU either wins by more than 6 points or San Diego wins by less than six. That's my take. I think it's either going to be really close for a San Diego victory or a relatively comfortable game for FAU with the win.
All right, I'm gonna say this: if FAU protects the basketball, they are going to beat San Diego State. We've seen that obviously they didn't protect the basketball, but maybe it was just an off shooting night for who did they play? I already forgot.
Kansas State.
Kansas State. I don't know. But I just think that I mean, just going over the stats alone, I mean they top San Diego State in nearly every category with the exception of blocks and steals. They have more assists, they average more rebounds, they shoot better free throw percentage. Actually, no, I lied. That's the other one. They shoot a worse free throw percentage by 2 points, 2 percentage points. They shoot better from the behind the arc, and they shoot better from the floor in general. So I don't know if FAU keeps those turnovers down. I think they beat San Diego State, but I do think this is probably going to be one of the more exciting games to watch.
For sure, for sure.
I think the Miami UConn game gets ugly quick.
For UConn. Alright, moving on to the NBA side of things. We're gonna fly through the NBA and the NHL because we have a lot going on in the baseball front. We're gonna talk about the Bulls. We are gonna talk about the Bulls. We're gonna talk about the Sox, the Cubs, the ending of the World Baseball Classic, and then opening day predictions. Right, excitement for this season. Um, Thoughts on the NBA, Mr. Bronx?
Oh, the Bulls have 7 games left.
They're two and a
Or
half up on the Wizards.
yes, they are 2.5 games up with 7 games remaining, or maybe six, seven. No, 7 games I think, or six, six, six.
Let's see. I'm looking at schedule here. So the Wizards, for their last 6 games, are due to play the Magic, the Knicks, the Bucks, the Hawks, the Heat, and the Rockets. Um, the ones that are the non-contested games for me that are easy wins for not easy wins, but games for the Wizards that should be maybe wins are the Rockets, the Heat, um, and maybe the Hawks. I actually, to be honest, I don't know where the Hawks are standing right now, but I know. Oh no, they're eight. They're eight, so probably maybe not. But I know that the Bucks and the Knicks are playing very well. Obviously, it's one of those any team can win, but
Mhm.
um, let's see I'm gonna see the Bulls stretch real quick. That's what I'm getting at too.
They have
Uh,
the Lakers.
Lakers, Hornets, Grizzlies, Hawks, Bucks, Mavericks, Pistons. So it's basically even right now, and it's good that the Bulls though
They're
have
trying to,
one. They have one more game, right?
yeah,
And remember,
seven
we're
games. Yeah,
talking about a 2.5 game swing though. So if we go even, we win, right? We have to lose two that they make up, and from a pure opponent standpoint, I don't see that happening. But if it happens, we fall out, and then that's it for the Chicago Bulls for the
it's it's
2020.
it's kind of cool to see that they're starting to hit their stride, even though it is late, and they found a way to win games without Lonzo running the show. Maybe it's the Pat Bev effect, like you said earlier. I don't
Well, did
know.
you see with his Lonzo Balls getting actually I'm gonna look this up real quick. I'm gonna fact check myself.
Is he getting the platelets
Mm,
put in his knee or something, or stem cells?
no. Oh, yeah. He is attempting to become the first NBA player to ever successfully return from a cartilage transplant
He had a transplant done.
to his knee. So I think I'm going to fact check myself again because I'm
That's
almost positive.
wow. What's is the donor another human being?
It could also be from another part of his body.
Oh,
I don't know though. They're rare in professional sports, and the procedure is relatively new. It's a step down from a knee replacement to maintain the integrity. No NBA player has undergone a cartilage transplant and returned to the court. So there has been others, but nobody's ever Nobody's ever done it.
Return to the court, huh? Wow, so his knee is that bad. Wow.
Um,
So people that were calling him out and saying he was not really as hurt as he is, I mean, the dude's having a cartilage transplant, so you can eat your words.
yeah.
That's
That's a big thing, like, with Derrick Rose.
he's
The cartilage in his knee is messed up. I mean,
oh yeah.
we know big time, but, um, that's I thought he had no cartilage, which is that's bad in the sense that then you're bone on bone, but it's not one of those things where when you don't have it, it's instantly an issue, but you will develop arthritis at some point.
Mhm.
That idea. But, yeah, so hoping all the best for Lonzo. We want him back on the
Yes.
court. We're paying him a
Yeah.
decent amount of money, and we've already lost a season and a half of his 4-year contract. So,
Yep.
uh, that's it for the NBA right now, and then a quick look over at the NHL. Let me do a quick check. Oh,
Oh, the
yep,
Blackhawks
the
still
Blackhawks
stink.
still suck. Yep.
And but once again, I said it before. Stop winning games. The apparent second coming of Wayne Gretzky is going to be on the board, and they're winning games.
They're 86 points back. Jeez.
They have a negative 86 goal differential. I mean, it's us and the Sharks that are the bad. Well, the Sharks are. Oh, come on. They have 8 games left. We have a total of how many points? 54. But the Sharks have 53. That's out of the Western Conference. In the Eastern Conference, Canadians have 66 and the Blue Jackets have 53. So right now, between the Blue Jackets, the Blackhawks, and who did I say? Blue Jacket
The
and the
Sharks.
Sharks, one of those teams. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the NHL rigs it so that the Sharks end up with the number one overall pick and they revitalize hockey in California.
Ooh. Yeah, let's go to a quick NFL sweep for
Quick
1 second.
NFL. It is become official. Lamar Jackson wants out.
He asked for a trade how many days ago on the second or something?
Yeah, he wants out. He wants out. The problem is he does not have an agent, and you know the same issue happened to Roquan Smith with the Bears. They value themselves a certain way. The organization sees it another way, and people get hurt. Like it's hard not to be a GM and look the player in the face and tell him, I'm not giving you $100 million because I don't think you're as good as this guy.
Yeah.
That's what an agent is there for. But he's asking for a fully guaranteed contract, and whoever trades for him's got to give up 2 first round picks. And from the talks, apparently the Colts are the front runners to land Lamar Jackson. Um, that's fine with me. Keep him
He's going full sellout.
keep them AFC as long as we can stay in the keep him out of the NFC. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a talented player, but I mean, our team is really going to pay him the money he wants, fully guarantee it, and give up 2 first round picks. I don't
What
know.
does he want? Does he want 100 mil?
I don't know what he wants. I don't know the exact number. I just know he wants his contract to be fully guaranteed. I don't know if there's anybody in the NFL. Well, I lie. Kirk Cousins had a fully guaranteed deal, but he wasn't. I didn't. He didn't eclipse
100
100,
million.
$100 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. I I hate to say I didn't see this coming, but I definitely did.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, if you think about it, even the best well, the Super Bowl champ quarterback does not even have a fully guaranteed deal,
yeah.
and he's a Super Bowl champ. And on top of that, he um, puts up better numbers.
Yeah, and I think the reluctancy for teams to do fully guaranteed is something that whether you think football is the greatest sport and there's nothing wrong with it, or you think that it's violent and it should be ended. The the probability of a career-ending injury, in my opinion, is more present here than anywhere. And to be
Yeah.
honest, you're kind of uh you're not looking at it the right way if you would say otherwise out of other major US sports. And I think that especially in a market how it is right now to fully guarantee a contract to somebody like that, if he were to have a career-ending injury, obviously nobody wants that, but
Right.
that's could be suicide for X amount of years, right?
Hmm.
For the team, however many years you got to pay him, however that much money, you
Yeah.
don't have a player, but you're spending money for three elite players for one ultra superstar who now can't play. So I don't
I
know.
I sort of compare that to, with the exception of of few major league pitchers, because MLB teams are not quick to offer gigantic deals to pitchers because of that's literally the one of the positions where career-ending injuries happen quite
Yeah,
often, right? Tommy
yeah,
John,
yeah. Although
although
Tommy's not,
players are bouncing back
yeah,
a lot quicker.
because because it's been Tommy John a lot of in recent years. The surgery has gotten better. But a super big misconception, by the way, about Tommy John is that people actually go harder after you get the
No.
surgery. While that is true from a how hard they were physically throwing, yes, but they haven't gained velocity. It's just that as the UCL becomes damaged, right? You
Mhm,
can't
mhm.
throw. So let's say your max was 95 and you're throwing 90 when you get the surgery because your UCL's messed up. After the
Yes.
surgery, you're throwing 95 again because it's
Right,
repaired, right?
right.
But no, yeah, you see a lot of pitchers coming back. You see a lot of pitchers having it coming back and then having great careers. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's not at this moment in time, obviously, it's something that if it happens more than once, you're probably in some trouble. But um, even that, right? I mean, look at Alex Smith, right? You have that gruesome injury, and
Mhm.
I don't think is he even on a roster?
No, he
No, he
retired.
retired. Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
He did come back and play a
For
few
like a
games, but
game or
that's
two.
scary. It was scary. I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of his leg
Yeah.
or what's left of it, but his story is incredible.
Mhm.
But yeah, all right. I think that's all I really want to talk about the NFL is Lamar. I mean, other than that, the Bears were quiet this week.
Yeah.
We'll see. April 27th. Cannot wait to see what Poles has in mind. If he's going to trade down from the 9, if he's going to draft Skaronski, if he's going to draft Paris Johnson, if he's going to, if Jalen Carter falls that far, will they draft him? I don't know. I think, my opinion, I think he trades the 9 pick. I think they trade down and they once again stockpile picks for next year, or get a higher position in the second round as well.
I don't know. You're the football expert here, so that's what
I
you
was,
think. Any way your word goes. All right, we're jumping to baseball. Going to start off with the World Baseball Classic. Unfortunately, the USA does not pull out a W. Um,
how about the game before? How about the Japan Mexico game?
oh, we talked about
We
that
didn't.
last
No,
time,
we
didn't
did
we?
not. It was the night of that game or the day before that game.
Oh, you're right. It's an unfortunate moment for Mexico there. Mexico has the lead. Japan makes a little comeback ski. I don't know if you watched the game. I did. I personally not. I had a game of my own.
Shohei.
Yeah,
Shohei sparked a late rally, and I think they were up five, once again. Another like 5-1, 5-2 game, was it not?
yeah. It was something like that. I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, maybe like 5-6. I think it was.
Yeah.
Let me just go back and check real quick. Yeah, 5-6.
Yeah, they won. Yeah, they won 6-5, but I
They
think
scored
it's
two in the bottom of the ninth.
2 to win. Oh, okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. I don't know. This was, to be honest, yes, the U.S. loses, and I think their team was not exponentially, but their team was definitely worse than last tournament's team, even though it felt
Mhm,
like they had more star power.
mhm.
Honestly, the argument could be made if the USA has the best pitchers from the MLB, from the USA. I don't think this is an easy win by any means,
Mhm.
but I think we definitely maybe don't give up that home run in the bottom of the fourth, or
Yeah.
we don't give up two in the second, right? We see Schwarber hit a home run late. We see, I believe, Trey Turner, actually. Was he the one that hit the home run? Yeah,
I,
Trey Turner hit a home run in the second inning, and then Schwarber hits a home run in the eighth inning, and the U.S. just aren't able to do it. Uh,
I'm
no, go ahead.
here's a point that was made to me pushing that conversation a little bit further about having the best pitching.
Mhm.
If they truly want to make the World Baseball Classic special, hear me out on this. They need to do what FIFA does and pay for the insurance for the players, the best players to play. Yes, the World Cup is a longer competition, right? Um, but FIFA fronts the money for the insurance for these teams to release their players. Why is the WBC not doing the same? Then there's no
Um,
question if Clayton Kershaw comes, if Scherzer comes, if
yeah,
Judge comes, if these guys come and play. Um, Now what's their excuse? Now you can basically use any excuse as a player that you want that you just don't want to participate.
yeah,
But to use a insurance as a cop out is not necessarily a cop out, but it is facts that insurance companies would not insure these players, and the teams were not willing to pay for the insurance or the rates like FIFA does for the World Cup. And if the WBC wants to become bigger and become more global, they need to act more like FIFA does when they pay for their insurance.
I agree. The only thing that you could say is an issue right now is a money thing. That do they have that money to insure those players? This is also one thing that is on the World Baseball Classic side is this is a 14-day tournament, I think. Not even, right? This year they shortened it. I don't know why. This tournament last tournament was two pools.
Yeah.
It was more teams, and then it was you won, and then you got put in a second pool, and then if you won that pool, you went to the quarterfinals, then the semis. So they just added a second round of pool, but it's a relatively short tournament, right? We see the World Cup go a lot longer, so
Right. With more chances for injury.
yeah.
So
And then yeah, in a sport that overall I would say is more physically demanding, to be honest. I mean, I'm a baseball player
and
myself, but yeah.
I would agree, and I don't under. I mean, is it really that much more expensive? I would make. I mean, soccer contracts have to be. Some of them are gigantic, right? I
Well,
don't know if they're
Ronaldo's
as.
getting he's getting what 300 million for 2 years or something.
I mean,
2 years.
think about that, and then compared to baseball contracts, I don't know. I don't know what the money is, or
Mm.
but if the WBC wants to become special, wants to become as big as FIFA, and I think that's their ultimate goal, right?
Well, I'll tell you this much: this year's tournament 96% of Japanese households or something are watching this final game. I mean, like, it has the potential to be there. I think another big issue that Japan has now won three, not that, being dominant is going to be an
Mhm.
issue, but the idea of that while baseball is still very popular where it's played, it's still a semi niche sport. You know what I'm saying? And the idea that, sure, you have teams like the Netherlands and Israel and Nicaragua, right? Like places like that aren't as big known, but then they're playing almost for the formality of it, right? Like no offense to Nicaragua, but they go 0-4. You know what I'm saying? Like that team's just there to say they're there to fill in a spot, right? Same with China. China gets smoked, and it's like
But doesn't China still have to? But
they
at the same
China still
time,
requalify.
they still have to qualify for it, just like they would in FIFA. It's not like they're not. I mean, what? None of these teams are just grandfathered in, are they?
Well,
They've
yes, I
at
believe
one
the
point they've
winner.
had. Well, yeah, but I'm saying at one point they
Oh,
had to have qualified for the tournament.
yes, yes.
So I mean, That's the same thing as the World Cup, although I think every team has to requalify for the World Cup, not
Not
the
the
winner.
winner.
Yeah,
Maybe they changed
I
it.
don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
not the winner or the host.
Mm.
So the USA automatically qualifies.
Next World Cup.
Yeah, USA, Mexico, and Canada.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, basically Japan can't beat out the USA. Want. Shohei Ohtani strikes out Mike Trout.
To
Um,
end it on a nasty slider.
and I don't know if you read this stat, but Mike Trout has had 6,000 MLB at
24
bats.
strikeouts.
He's at 20 as something strikeouts where all three of his strikes are swing and miss. And that happened here in the final out. It's really cool to see Shohei go up against USA or sorry,
Hmm.
Trout.
Yeah, right.
Um
To end it, his teammate.
prove his dominance. But no, that's really all I got for this. Like, yeah, upsetting to see the USA lose, but really more excited and looking forward to opening day than anything right now. So next, we're gonna go over the. Unless you have any more final thoughts on the
I
WBC
do.
before we move
The
on.
WBC, they didn't play any of these weird rules, did they?
What the new ones? No, no, no. We're gonna get to that in a second when we talk about the
And
MLB.
it was probably, I think it was the highest watched WBC in the history
For
of the
sure, for
WBC.
sure.
So is the game really boring? I once again, I would say rather than change rules, shorten the season.
But all of these, so the reason why I agree but disagree with that is these rules that were changed, right? They got changed to not make the game less less boring.
Yes, they
They
did
no, they did sure less boring, right?
to
Like
make
the
to
shift,
speed up the
but
action.
yeah, to speed up the game and to speed up the action. But they didn't do anything that makes a double more exciting. It might happen a little bit more often, but what I'm saying is I think that um it's not that the game is boring. It's not like you said they need to shorten the season, but I don't think they should. If that makes sense. I agree that it would make sense because the games would mean more, but we're talking about a sport where compared to all other major American sports, actually, a guy did a study. I don't mean to go off on a tangent real quick, but he did a study about what the luckiest sport is, and it's actually hockey. But baseball is the second luckiest sport, and he made a note that he said, yes, the hockey is the luckiest or most lucky.
What
Uh,
determines luck?
well, that's what I'm getting at. That that even though hockey's here on the spectrum and basketball's the most skillful, that every sport you still need a mass amount of skill, right, to play professionally. Nobody's denying
Mhm.
that. But the idea that in an environment like hockey, the idea that something lucky might happen, right? Is it easier to get a lucky bounce off the post that the puck slides around and hits things and goes into the net than it is for you to shoot a half court shot and get it to hit the top of the backboard and roll around it. You know what I'm saying? The idea that more things that could be considered lucky or RNG if you're a gamer, right? That something could just happen that it's just you can't expect or predict, right? And I think the 162 game season allots for that. If we're shortening it, like what are you suggesting shortening? Shortening to me is like at the most 130, 125. We're still talking over 100 games.
I mean, it's a lot of games. I mean, to me, the problem is um, a cold city like we are always at a disadvantage when they start games in April,
Yeah.
and that's clearly there's literal stat evidence backing that claim. So even if you 130 is fine, then start the season later. Or do 130 on years where the WBC is around. So that way you can have a longer WBC tourney and push the season back and not have to worry about it. Yes, does that put an asterisk next to somebody who wins that World Series? Maybe. But even the players complain about the 162 games.
Yeah.
It really is a grind and it is a long damn season that starts in cold weather, and unless you're an LA team or a Cali team or whatever, ends in cold weather. and
Yeah.
nobody wants to play baseball in cold weather. It's the worst.
Yeah.
You're a baseball player. I was a baseball player.
Yeah,
Cold
it
weather baseball
sucks.
sucks.
It sucks. Especially if
I
you're a pitcher.
I would agree. So I don't know.
It's a big what if. It's not gonna happen anytime soon, but
No.
um I don't know. Leave comments if you think what you think about the MLB season.
Yeah.
Um moving on, we're gonna focus on
Predicting each
the
team's
well, we're
predicting
gonna talk
each
about the Cubs right now. The Cubs first, then we'll talk
yeah,
about the Sox because we have neglected the Cubs.
we have.
We are Southside fans. We tried to
That
get
is
someone
correct.
on here to help us with the Cubs, but unfortunately he is not available today.
Not available.
So
No.
maybe next week after they've played their first few games. Bronx, I believe you looked into this. I know they extended Nico Horner 3
They
years, what,
did 3 years,
35?
36, 30 or 35. Yeah, 3 years, 35 million. Uh, which basically solidifies their middle infield for the next 3 years.
Yeah,
Um, and
Dansby and
that's and that sees our boy Nicky Two Strikes, Nicky Madrigal, head to the bench if he makes the team at all. I don't know. I think he would make the team. I don't see why he
well,
wouldn't.
I don't know out of the three of them,
Hmm.
could any of them have third potential? To be honest, I don't know. I know Magical
Maybe
probably
Nico.
not.
Maybe
Yeah.
Nico Horner. Horner just seems like a more fluid defender
Mhm.
than Madrigal. He's obviously more polished, has more games under his belt. Um, and overall, he's just a better player, in my opinion. But Nick Madrigal can't stay healthy. The guy he got his rookie season. He separates his shoulder, sliding into third base. His next year with the Sox, I believe he tears his hamstring. Um, his first year with the Cubs, I don't know what he did, but he was hurt with the with his first year with the Cubs, and now in his fourth season, I don't know if he stays healthy. Maybe becomes a good bench player. I would assume he's a late pinch hitter in a game, right? Because the
Mhm.
guy can make contact. He rarely strikes
Yeah.
out. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know what the future is for Nick Madrigal over there on the north side.
And nobody said he couldn't play the outfield, right? You know what I'm saying? He could
Mm,
just be. They could turn him into a
utility
utility
guy,
guy.
the Leori Garcia of the
Listen,
Cubs.
if Kyle Schwarber can play left field, not very well, as we've seen, um, they could convert Magical if needed, right? But
Mhm.
the Cubs, to be honest, this year rebounded pretty nicely from a pretty, I would say, abysmal these last few seasons, especially after coming off a World Series win. Um,
Yeah.
I think they've rebounded really well. I think Dansby Swanson's a great pickup. At the same time, I think people are maybe expecting a little bit much from him. He was the number 2 prospect in I believe it was the 2016 class, like of MLB prospects.
Hmm.
Number 1 was excuse me, he was number 3. Number 1 was Benintendi, who's now a Sox. Uh, Number 2 was Moncada, also on the White Sox, and then number 3 was Dansby Swanson. And he was kind of like a big power bat, good enough defender type guy. And he's molded into a nice player like that. He's good enough at defense, and his bat has kind of slowed down. If you ask me, in
Yeah.
Atlanta, I think he only batted like 270, maybe worse last season. And not that batting 270 is bad in the major leagues by any means, but he's not out there making, you know, Francisco Lindor esque plays. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So
Right.
Francisco Lindor can bat 260 because he makes up for it in the field. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Not that Swanson is bad, but people are coming in. What do they want? A 50 home run season from this
I'm not
shortstop?
gonna
I
say
mean,
that.
like, I don't. I, I'm hopeful, and I do really think it was a good pickup for the Cubs to secure some talent. He's a very talented player. He's going to impact the team, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
are people expecting too much? I say yes. I
I
think
agree
they
with
are.
you. I agree with you. We know he's good. He's sure-handed up the middle. There's no doubt about that.
Mhm.
Um, I would say he's an above-average hitter, but I don't think power-wise he's ever broken 20 home runs, has he?
I don't know. I can check his stats real quick, but
I
I
was gonna
know
say
he's.
I don't know that he's gonna be a middle of the order guy.
I believe he batted below sixth for the
Right.
for the Braves. So
Agreed.
His career WAR is 14.5. He has 102 home runs with a 255 career batting average. So, um, in 7 years, last year he batted two. So I was right. Yeah, 277 with 25 home runs. So his best in
There it is.
2021. In 2021, he had 27 home runs. That was his highest so far. He batted 277 with a 329 slugging, or excuse me, 329 on base,
Wait,
477 slugging, and a 776 OPS. And then his OPS plus is 99. Excuse me. That last year was 115. As we know, OPS plus 100 is average.
yeah,
So he played above average last season.
yeah.
Only
Here's
the third time in his career he's done that. So
here's my take on this team. I do not think that just I mean, they did make some other moves. I mean, Eric Hosmer's on the squad, a veteran, but whatever. Trey Mancini, another veteran,
mm.
whatever. Um, Cody Bellinger, a veteran.
Oh, I completely forgot about Bellinger. Well, he's not a
I mean,
veteran, but they think Bellinger's my thing is a sleeper pickup. I think if Bellinger can come out, I mean, to be honest, if there's one person I feel really bad for besides maybe Chris Bryant, it is Bellinger. We have an MVP that kind of fell off the face of the earth. And maybe it's a 2018, I believe it was, MVP purse because now Yelich is not trash, but you know what I'm saying? We're talking about players that were literally in my opinion, I don't know if you're going to agree with me, one of the most entertaining MVP races of this century. I don't know if you were big into their MVP race, but I was really into it. I actually wanted Yelich to win personally. Um, Now both of them kind of are playing abysmal in these last few years, more so Cody Bellinger than not. But
mhm,
I'm hoping he can pull it together because I'm looking at his stats here. Uh, ever since his MVP season of batting 305 with a 167 OPS plus, he's batted 239, 165 in 95 games, by the way, and 210 in 144 games.
not good. But
He went
so here's my take on that. So they've added a few pieces, right? They've added a few pieces that I don't necessarily think will make a big impact on this year's team.
Mhm.
Moving forward, like I said, those pieces, like I think they deal Bellinger like they did Jock Peterson. I think they
Yeah,
do the same damn thing at the trade deadline that they do with that.
it's kinda
And
like a sign and trade.
right, and to get something out of it. I mean, they're going to be without Kyle Hendricks for probably the first few months of the season. Their starting pitching staff are names that some of them I've never even heard of. I have no idea who they are, aside from Drew Smiley and Marcus Stroman. I don't know who Justin Steele is. I don't know who Jamison Talon is. I don't know who Hayden Wesneski is. I don't know who the hell that is.
Chris
Uh,
would know, I'll
so
tell you that much.
I mean, yes, and their bullpen is once again filled with a lot of no names as well. I mean,
Mhm.
but who's Javier Assad? Who's Brad Boxberger? Who's Julian Merriweather? Maybe he is. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Keegan Thompson, Rowan
I don't know.
Wicks,
I don't understand their huge investment, especially in veterans this year, kinda like throwaway players, if you ask me,
Trey
for
Mancini,
for a squad that
Hosmer,
I don't know how you can look at this squad and
and
say it's anything but a a squad that hangs in a little bit, but
yes,
everyone knows they're not going to make it. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah,
like, what are they investing in exactly?
right,
Hosmer, Mancini aren't going to be here. They might trade away Bellinger. So, like,
yeah,
what are we picking up exactly? What moves did they make? Is it just a lot of like PR things for the Cubs right now, where like it looks like they're making big moves, but are
moves
they
right
really? Right? Their
because
biggest
yeah,
signing was Swanson, who was, yes, the biggest shortstop on the market besides Turner, but like that's a huge jump, right? We're talking
yeah,
about probably the best shortstop in baseball, in my opinion, all around, and a dude that's above average in hitting and can kind of defend. It's
Yeah.
just, I think, not that they didn't make a few decent moves, but I think they did it as a publicity thing, if you ask me. Not obviously just for publicity, they want to win, but like, I don't know if the front office really looked at those moves and they themselves. I don't know if they think this, but I personally don't think you can look at those moves and say those were for the future. That we're
Right.
this we can build
And
on that.
right. And had you kept your cornerstone, at least one of them,
Mhm.
there is not. Is there even a besides? I think Kyle Hendricks. Is he the only
No,
player?
so this I just saw this today. This is the
Is
first year since 2016 that not a single one of the players that
that
won
won the
the World
world
Series
is on the roster?
is on the
How
opening
do
day
you?
roster. Besides Hendricks, I think Hendricks was there, but he's not on the opening day
No,
roster.
he's hurt. He's not going to
Yeah,
come
yeah,
until
yeah.
till right. But that's what I'm saying. It's not that far off that you couldn't have kept Chris Bryant, that you couldn't have kept Kyle Schwarber, that you couldn't have kept Javier Baez, at least some of them or
Mhm.
one of them. That I mean, they literally had a superstar
Well, they let
caliber,
Contreras go too. I mean,
and that's another move I was making. If he was the last one left of, I would say, that core batting lineup, right? He was the
yeah.
last one left. If you re-sign him and then you make a Swanson deal and then you go out and you get Cody Bellinger, now I'm, as a Cubs fan, I'm looking and saying, hey, maybe they are making
Yeah.
these moves for the future. But to let him walk, not even
Well,
offer him,
and that well, not even that's the thing that just confused me,
because
dude.
they had an opportunity to deal
Yeah,
him as well.
exactly. Yeah, it's a family sport, right? The idea of like brotherhood and whatnot, but it is a business.
Yes.
Did they let him stay for the rest of the season because they felt bad for him? That they didn't want him to be he was crying, so they didn't want him them to deal him like it's a business.
Yes.
If you ask me that the Contreras fumble is one of the biggest in
Mhm,
recent history, if you ask me. In my own
mhm.
memory, not getting anything out of him and letting him walk without even because even I dare say even if you come close to countering the Cardinals' offer, he might come back.
I agree with you. I think he would. Loyal. If from the sounds of it, he wanted to be back.
Although he did say in one of his first press conferences with the Cardinals, he quote always wanted to be there. So
Yeah,
maybe it's a PR thing, but
100%. That's a PR thing. Why
yeah,
wouldn't you want to be on that team,
true.
playing against them year in and year out?
Yeah. So yeah, I think I don't know if you're going to agree with this statement, but I think the overview of the Cubs offseason and their outlooks into this season is they made moves, but they didn't. They made moves. They kind of did one of these, right? Like they were here, then they're here, so they just didn't here. All they did was they dug themselves out of the hole that they did when they lost Contreras, and basically when they trade away the big three, right? The cornerstones. That was like here, right? They
Hmm.
dropped to here and they brought themselves like here, but the prime was here, right? They
I
they they dug themselves a little bit better, but all they did was set themselves up for failure, right? I don't this is
Mhm.
a perfect analogy if you're listening and you didn't see the thing I did there. It's basically like they had 10 miles left on their gas tank and they put $5 in, right? It's gonna get them another 20 miles, right?
Yeah.
But it's not sustainable. You can't
Right.
just, you know.
I would. That analogy just threw my whole train of thought
But you
off.
like it? Was it a good one or what?
It was pretty good. I liked it. I That's what I was going to say. I am curious to see, and that's where I would like a Cubs fan to be here, or a Cubs expert to be on this podcast to talk with us. What was the return from
Next week.
some of those trades with Schwarber, with Baez, with Bryant? What did they get in return, and it was it worth it at the time?
Mhm.
Like for me, I would have paid Chris Bryant 300 million to stay. But I would have. I don't care. What did they pay Swanson? 100 plus?
I don't think so.
I think it was. I don't know what it was.
Look here right now. Oh,
Maybe not.
7-year, 177.
Yeah. I mean,
I
and
thought
Chris
it was
Bryant.
shorter than that.
No, I thought it was over 100 million. I mean, they paid that guy 177 million dollars, and they wouldn't shell out. I get you wouldn't shell out 300. That's a lot of damn money. But if you
Well,
really believed in one of those players, I mean,
the last time the Cubs made it,
made that much that big of a deal, it
it
flopped in
was
their face.
Jason Hayward.
Yeah, I get it, but Hayward, I think Chris Bryant had more upside at his current time than Jason Hayward does.
Um,
Anyway,
finally, our last topic of the day on to the Chi-Town Sox. What are we thinking?
Southsiders. It's kind of crazy to say to think that a fan favorite, although I wasn't a very big fan of Leori Garcia, but to see his name not on, probably not going to be on an opening day roster is kind of surprising because of his value. I think we overpaid him, but he was a decent plug and play
He
player.
was all right.
But he was
I
there when we needed him.
I'll say this: the loudest
He
stadium I've
can
ever
play
been
everything.
in, the loudest stadium I have ever been in my entire life, is Game 3. Larry Garcia 3-run home run, dead center. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was at that game and we went down. We went down 5-1. I was like, GG. It was it was really cool to see the first White Sox playoff game since what 2006 or something.
Mhm.
Um, we got really cool towels. We got cool towels. I still have it actually. I'll bring it on next podcast if you remind me.
Nice.
But we're down 5-1, and then I don't want to ramble on too much about this game because we have stuff to get to. But then Grandal hits a 2-run homer, but then Garcia comes up with I think maybe it was even 2 outs, and I was like, he's not he's not going to do anything. He might hit maybe a flare. We're trying to get a kind of a station to station,
Mhm.
and all I see is the ball get hit. I see it going dead center. I do one of these right just to stand up like no way. Loudest stadium I've ever been in by far.
Nice.
So I like him for that, but to be honest, I
Mm.
disagree. I think he was there when we needed him, but he wasn't there. He was there because he could play every position. Did he do it efficiently or that well? I don't think so. If you were to ask me, my opinion, I don't think so.
But up the middle, it's looking like Elvis Andrus is making that
That
conversion
return,
look pretty smooth at second base. He doesn't look too bad or overmatched, or he's a he's a damn veteran.
oh,
14 years
yeah.
playing shortstop, and he's making the move now to stay
Mhm.
on this team. I think that says a lot about his
Well,
character.
yeah, that plus we're talking about a guy that's a free agent, right?
Yep.
Um, could have just hung it up, called it quits, and he decides to join a team that's in a playoff spot race, and he
Yeah.
does damn good. He does really good.
Hmm.
So, I mean, props to him. I think um what we're doing with Andreas is kind of what the Cubs needed to do. We're using him as a veteran not just to fill holes, but to maybe be a mentor to some guys and help us go over that edge. You know what I
To
mean?
a Romy Gonzalez who is looking like he's going to show some promise, to maybe a Hanser Alberto who's a utility guy. Um,
Did they say anything about Montgomery?
he's hurt, but he's not going to make the roster.
He's hurt.
Yeah,
What'd he do?
he's an oblique strain,
Oh,
but he will not make the roster.
I think he'll get called up this year.
I do not either. No, you sit him. No, don't start his time yet. I think he plays one more year. He probably bounces. Double A and Triple A. Probably starts in Double A unless he finished last year in Triple A.
I think so because
Yeah, he'll probably start this.
on the MLB board. He's projected 2024 or 2023. My bad, which is this year. So
I doubt he makes it up. Maybe. Um, but I don't know. The outfield looks okay. I mean, we have Benintendi, we have Robert, we have Oscar Colas, who I think makes the squad. I don't know if he was sent down or not.
Eloy.
Eloy, yeah, but Eloy, I don't know
Honestly,
if he's still
I
hurt.
think something
Moncada,
interesting about this team is that I want to say,
does Jake Berger make the squad? I don't know.
yeah, I think so. Um, something that I think is interesting is we're projected as we're not going to win. They don't even think we're going to make the playoffs, and it hurts to say, but I think I agree. But when you look at the roster, if all these guys are playing on, we're contenders, and that's what we saw.
Mhm,
Right, a
mhm,
few years ago, we have a young, fast, powerful. If he plays like an all-star, top
mhm.
10 center fielder in the league. We
Yes.
have Benintendi, who's proven to be a consistent, good, still decently young player. We have
Mhm,
Eloy, who's huge power potential. The only huge loss we had over the offseason was Abreu, but Andrew Vaughn is basically a younger version of Abreu in most ways. And we have Gavin Sheets, two guys that fill those roles. Grandal, who had an atrocious season last year, but if he can pick it up like he did in 2021, we have
right,
another great player.
right.
Moncada, who was we just said he was the number 2 rated prospect,
Yeah.
right? We have Dylan Cease, MVP candidate. Crochet, if he's healthy now, he's back. Kopak, who's really learning how to become a pitcher now. Giolito, Lance Lynn, like the list goes on forever. But I hate to say it, we're just not going to pull through. We have everything, in my personal opinion, to be a top, maybe not 10, but top 12, top 14 team in the league, and I just can't don't think we can put it together. I think we're going to be inconsistent. We're going to be blotchy throughout the year. I don't know if you could agree with me.
I see, and here's my one thing that I'm going to say about this season, and it's going to revolve around, in my opinion, two, maybe three players. I think if Yaz has his season that he's capable of, that's a change because he was horrendous last year. He was hurt
Yeah,
last year,
yeah. I mean,
and they were bad behind the plate. Our catcher needs to improve.
well,
The other,
for the
the other,
record, he is not a very good defensive catcher.
oh, he's awful.
Oh, he sucks.
Um,
Just making sure you know.
the next player, I think it sort of revolves around is Yohan Moncada. I'm a huge Yo-Yo fan, but
Not a
he's
big
been
fan. I like
really,
him.
really, really inconsistent. 2020 was the COVID excuse year where he had it, and he said he just felt horrible the whole rest of the year, and he was having trouble breathing, and he was sucking wind, and whatever it was. And then to come out last year and once again be riddled with injuries and be consistently hurt, and play poorly as well. But we saw snippets of how good he can be in the World Baseball Classic.
The
Yes, it's
Yohan
not major.
Moncada cycle.
y- Yes, it's not the major leagues and it's not the best teams that they're playing against,
Yeah, yeah.
but you still have to go up there and produce. And then the third player um, that I think it's going to revolve around is Lucas Giolito. Can he return to his Cy Young contending form?
He has a
Once again,
new.
once again, we see him. He's trying to fix his mechanics again,
Oh
right?
yeah,
This is number
that's
three.
yeah.
This
I,
is going to be
I
his
always
third.
thought he had a disgusting throw, so hopefully we
Well,
can.
his literally his first year up was the worst pitcher in baseball history.
Sure.
History.
And that he was a Cy
History.
Young candidate.
The
And
very
can we talk about, sorry,
this
Dylan Cease, not a 90 in MLB The Show? I don't even know if he's a 90. All I know is he's under a 93. We're talking about a man who was a top 3 Cy Young candidate the
all-star snub.
whole damn
All
year. The whole
all-star
damn
snub.
year. And he doesn't even get a 92 card in MLB The Show? Do
All-star
better.
snub.
Do better.
All,
Unbelievable.
all-star snub. If he pitches the last half of the year or the team plays a little bit better, I think he could have possibly won that Cy Young. I'm telling you, I said it before the year started, and I laid money on Dylan Cease to win Cy Young last year, and he came close. The kid is filthy, and he has started to figure it out.
And he has a mustache.
And he's young as hell,
And he has a mustache.
and he has a mustache.
Thank you, Chicago Cubs, as a matter of fact.
Yes, for Eloy and Cease.
See.
Mhm.
No, yeah, I don't know. Any final thoughts on the White Sox? I really, like I said, I think they have all the pieces. Their bullpen is decent. Their starting rotation is good. I think Lance Lynn is kind of at the end right now
Yeah, but
of what's going on, and I
he's a
think
veteran.
the White Sox are in a very precarious position where they could either get all these young players going and then attract some talent
And
this next
fire
offseason.
sale.
Exactly. Or we lose this year. We some contracts worn out. Grandal is gone. Andrews is gone. Anderson's getting up there. Our window was like, if this is our window and 2021 was here, we're like right here.
Yeah, we're at the end.
We either need something to extend it, or we have to at the end of this year say, okay, let's grab a cornerstone or two. Let's grab Robert. Let's grab Anderson. Let's grab Cease, and let's just blow it up. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? It's just blow it up.
and you already have Benintendi for the long term.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. That's been taking the Sox. I don't know if you have
Nope, that's it.
anything else. All right, we're gonna hit regame moment of the week. And then we'll send you. Or well, excuse me. We're gonna have the regame moment of the week. Then we're gonna have our special guest finally, and then we're going to send you guys on your way. So regame moment of the week. I'll go first since Brock's went first for the lost full moment of the week. My regame moment of the week is I forgot. I
Well, and
forgot.
I will tell you mine. My regame moment of the week goes back to those same 76ers who,
What
in
was
a
it?
back to back,
Oh,
they had
oh,
a
yeah, yeah,
home
yeah.
game against the Bulls. Then they go to Chicago and they put a damn hurting on them. And they show them why they're sitting in the number 3 seed fighting for the number 1 seed and beat them by 25 points. Hand them the business. That is a regain if I've ever seen one.
I literally, as you started talking, I remembered my regame over the week is the New York Yankees decide to call up Anthony Volpe. They make the decision that he's going to be on the opening day roster. Boone said he wants him to develop, but he thinks the development should happen in the MLB. A move that we've seen a lot recently from a lot of organizations that they believe why let a kid play an extra year in the minor leagues when he could just say screw it and let him have an okay year, but throw him into the major leagues, right, and see how he develops. He's only played 20 some games in AAA, but I really think this is a good call up. And I think that the the Yankees kind of need it because that middle infield is lacking a little bit. They make the trade to the Rangers. They get I don't know. I know how to say his name, but I don't want to butcher it. You know, I'm talking about the dude from the Rangers, um, the
No idea.
shortstop. Hold on, I gotta look it up.
But
But
while you
yes,
since you say that, I mean, you look at a team like the Orioles who called up Adley Rushman, right? They
yeah.
rushed him up there,
Oh,
didn't they?
Connor Falefa.
Falefa.
hmm So no, that's what I'm saying. I think they expected him to come in basically kind of a Swanson situation and do more than I think that he's really capable of. So I'm hoping this, 21-year-old kid, hoping he can come out and have a great year. But I think it's a regame from the Yankees that I think they made a great decision. If you
Yeah.
ask me, I think this is a great decision. Excited to see what the kid can do. Excited for baseball in general. But yeah, that is my regame moment of the week.
Nice.
And now our final segment, moving on, the final segment of the day. We have an interview, first ever interview on the Lost Full podcast, hoping to make it a more common thing. But our first special guest, you've been waiting, drumroll, uh, is Neutral Warrior. He's been a great supporter of Bronx, great supporter of the podcast in general. Great guy. We'll have his socials linked, but we're gonna bring him on now, and yeah, hope they have a great interview.
Nice. So I just wanted to start Warrior with tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm a content creator. I've been making content for about maybe I want to say 4 years. Started off on Mixer, got partnered on Mixer. Mixer died. Got partnered with Facebook. Still partnered with Facebook, but I've been streaming on TikTok a lot more, and mainly focusing on mobile gaming now. But I used to be a semi-pro, I would say, competitive player in Warzone Island, winning a couple of tournaments with my boy Bronxon here, actually.
We did win a few
Won a
times.
couple of tournaments with him and one of our friends, Sly, which he's a great player. But yeah, so that's a little bit of an intro. I've always liked competing in video games, but now it's more about fun, if anything, for me.
Nice. Nice. So well, like you already mentioned, where can people find you?
So you can right now my main, like, if you want to catch the stream every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Hmm.
probably TikTok would be the best option. But I also stream on Facebook Gaming, fb.gg/neutral warrior, or twitch.tv/neutral warrior with an underscore in the end.
Nice,
Those platforms I throw up some streams during the week, but mainly TikTok right now.
nice. The growth you've seen there is pretty incredible, isn't it?
It's crazy. I mean, just yesterday, I streamed for, what was it, like almost 4 hours,
Hmm.
and we got 90 new followers. We peaked at like 100 something viewers. Um, yeah, and so it's like crazy. TikTok is insane. Super supportive community, very generous too. They're really appreciated. I love the Warrior Clan in there, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
I
Pretty
am.
cool.
I can't confirm. I am also a part of that warrior clan. I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
One more, actually, a few more questions. What's your
Yeah,
favorite game to play on stream, but also off stream?
it's funny. COD Mobile. It's COD Mobile for me every single day, whether I'm off stream or on stream. Like COD Mobile is just, I'm addicted to the game. There's so much to do on it, so many weapons to grind, camel grind, and yeah, it's pretty fun, especially in the Discord as well. Like we even off stream, I play with the community. That's how much I love the game.
Love it, love it. Um, uh, for those of you that don't know, I am a part of Team Neutral. Why
Yes,
did
sir.
you start Team Neutral?
So I started Team Neutral because when I first got into like content creation, I didn't know where to start. I feel like everybody says this story, but like I started learning along the way, like a lot of the stuff I wanted to learn, and I was like, you know what? There's probably people like me out there that want to create content but don't know how to get started or don't know how to succeed in this. So I was like, you know what? The group of friends that I've met through streaming, I want to help them out. But I also, at the same time, I want to, kind of grow a brand together, like an esports
Mm.
brand. Became more of a content creator team in the end, since we were competing under Team Neutral, but um, mainly to help like people learn how to, get sponsored with companies, how to grow on certain platforms. You've been part of them, which I'm breaking a little bit of NDA that I tell you guys to not talk about. But when you become part of like a team like the one that I've created, I teach you guys what's going to work on certain platforms,
Right.
what to focus on or when to post, for example, on Facebook, what the shift is going to be with the partnerships that I've gotten with, like what the shift is going to be in on content, like what you should focus on, whether it be short form. Like back then, I would recommend streaming on Facebook, which had an incredible algorithm.
Hmm.
Now, the main thing I recommend, for example, is like stream on TikTok if you really want to grow a community. So it's like a lot of the things that I've learned that will take people years, or some people even pay to join programs to learn the information that I'm basically given for free.
Right.
Well, not basically, I'm actually giving for free
Yeah.
for the members of Team Neutral. Just because what I believe is, if we all eat, we can all eat. If I succeed, I can help everybody else succeed, and we all eat, bro. There's enough money, there's enough sponsorships, there's enough this and that to feed everybody. You know what I mean? So, too many secrets going around in the content creation community that I don't think should be like that, because then it becomes like cliques in high school. Like, oh,
Right.
we're going to be in the up crowd. We're not going to teach the bottom people how to get up here. I find it silly. So
Right.
it's like I broke those walls down, and I hopefully have helped people, grow. Which some people have said that I've helped them, but it
I can
hopefully it
attest
helps
to
a little
that.
bit. Yeah.
I can attest to that. And then, sort of going along those lines, why did you see me as a good fit for Team Neutral?
Well, I mean, the moment I joined your stream, because obviously we met on Twitter, I was just,
Yep.
a couple of secrets I have for Twitter growth, but I was just checking Twitter, and then I saw your stream, and you're like consistently streaming because
Hmm.
I followed you and I saw you're going live post. You need to post more on Twitter besides that,
I know.
Mr.
I
Bronx. But
know.
I saw how often you were posting that you were going live. I'm like, this guy is, you reminded me of me, how much I used to stream, because I used to stream 7 days a week.
Hmm.
I used to when I first started on Mixer, I used to stream 7 days a week. I used to work full time since I was a business owner. I would work 8 to 10 hours, and then I would go stream for another 5 or 6 hours every single day.
Those are long
And
days.
the long days. So yeah, so I saw you like streaming, and then I hopped into your stream because I was curious. I'm like, oh, this guy's streaming a lot. See what his content looks like. And you had a great vibe. You welcomed me into the chat, and You're entertaining, kept me talking to you on the stream. So some of the things that I always recommend with a new streamer, I'm like, you don't worry about being good at the game. Worry
Right.
about talking to the people that are in the chat that are bothering and going out of their way to spend some time with you. If somebody's going to make an effort to go talk to you, do not focus on the game because
100%.
there's doubt trillions of people that are going to be better at you than you at a game. But that one person that decided to go watch you is watching you at that
Right.
moment. So you put your 100% on that person that comes into the chat. The gaming and the sweating can come later. But yeah, so you had that. You talked to me, you focus on the conversation, and then we vibed after that, and I saw your mindset, your grind set. Um, and I appreciated that because it reminded me of me. So I'm like, hey, this is somebody that I personally would like to help continue growing because I see how much he wants it, and I see
Mhm.
how much he wants to build a community. Yeah, that's why.
Awesome. Appreciate the gas, the kind words.
Absolutely, bro.
Matt, you have anything for him?
Yeah, you keep touching on, I guess, the community aspect of going as a streamer. Like, what I know, obviously, it means a lot, but like, what exactly does that mean to you, and how do you deal necessarily with the negative aspect of that?
So when I first started, obviously, you have to have a thick skin as a content creator because the haters are the vocal minority, right? So you're going to get hate comments before you start getting the love from people when you start making content. That's always going to be the case. Unfortunately, we live in such a world that's so it's just it's always a negative with the world nowadays. So you're always going to get that hate. Don't let it get to you because for every hate comment, you're getting 1,000 love comments, but everybody has this thing where you focus on that one negative thing. I could have gotten 800 people telling me, "Hey, man, I love your streams." But if I see somebody comment, "Oh, you're an idiot for wearing that helmet and streaming a mobile game," that like would mess with me back then.
Mhm.
But then I compare it and I'm like, this is one person out of the 800 that are enjoying what I'm doing. Why am I putting my energy, my attention towards that? So when it comes to that, building community, you're always going to get the trolls, you're always going to get this and that, but then the more you focus on the negativity, the more negative your community is going to become. So you have to focus on the people that do actually care. You have to focus on the positivity of things. You have to focus on having fun. You have to focus on entertaining the people that actually want to be there. Somebody doesn't want to be there and they go into your stream, talk smack. I used to have the energy to try to convert those people to viewers and it would work. But nowadays it's like just focus on the people
Right.
that are being entertained by you. You build a community, be nice to them. I'm a very Christian man. I treat everybody the way Christ would treat them. And show them love. A lot of these people that do come in hating, you'd be surprised how much they want to be heard. Which is the main reason they're trolling, right? Or they're trying to hate. Just tell them, hey man, I'm sorry you feel that way. God bless you, or I hope your life gets better, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, there's a shift in their tone. So a lot of these people that are hateful and all that, they honestly and this is not like a jab at them, but a lot of them are lonely. A lot of them have no friends. A lot of them don't have that sense of belonging. So
Mhm.
the best way that they try to get attention is being an idiot, or they're trying to put somebody else down because they want to make them feel the way that they're feeling
Mhm.
you know so yeah, so building community, going towards that topic a little bit more. I was just want to kind of hit on the negative side of it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
building the community, that's, at least for me as a content creator, that should be your main focus. I know people do this for money. I have never gotten into this for money myself, right? And I have friends that do it for money, which I still am not comfortable with. I understand people want to make this a living. It's very difficult to make that happen.
Yeah.
So if you go into it directly like, I'm going to become a streamer because I'm going to make money out of this, you're already doing it wrong. I've said this many times before. You're going to lose money when you're first starting streaming because you want to make your stream look nice here and there, make logos, blah, 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 blah. You're going to end up paying money that you're not going to get that money back until maybe a year after you stream. And maybe you'll get some donations. Maybe you'll get some subscribers, stars or Twitch bits or gifts on TikTok or whatever. So at least for me, when I went into it wanting to build a community of like-minded gamers, people that enjoyed a game, have
Mhm.
fun with it, they're passionate about a game. I just wanted to, build a community, be able to talk about the game with them and have fun with it. So that's like for me, that's the main focus. You have to focus on building a community. The more genuine your community is, the more people will start appreciating you and the money will come out of their own hearts, honestly. That's why I don't tell people, please don't or I do tell people, don't focus on money when you start making content, because you're already going to be doing it wrong, because people are going to see through your BS right away.
Yeah.
I promise you that they're going to see it. People aren't dumb. People are not dumb, especially gamers. You have to be smart to be able to play a video game. You have to be able to have quick decision. You have to be able to read in between the lines. And like, if you're only streaming for money, people that go into your chat, they're going to see that, they're going to leave right away. If they see that you're being genuine, like, hey, this guy actually just wants to entertain me.
Hmm.
Some people like me because I'm a generous viewer usually when I have the funds for it. I would be like, you know what? I love that this guy's putting in effort to just entertain me and nothing else. Let me go and subscribe to him. Let me go ahead and drop some love to him. Let me go ahead and gift them something.
Yeah.
So the money comes, but community should always be the first thing as a content creator that you want to focus on, because without your community, you are absolutely nothing.
Couldn't agree with that anymore.
Mhm.
Anything else, Matt?
Yeah, I kind of have one more. Well, technically two more because that kind of you see. I guess a lot of the really big streamers, right, like on Twitch. As you get to a point where it becomes so big that it's like not it's hard to stay as genuine, but you know what I'm saying, there's a lot more going on at a certain time, and I guess sometimes they get accused of not being genuine. Have you found as your community grown that it's difficult not to stay genuine, but I guess to be as involved with everyone in the community at once going on?
Absolutely. It definitely gets way more difficult to kind of like know people on a more personal level the more you grow. With the bit of the growth that I've been having these past few weeks with TikTok, like, it's getting even more and more difficult because more people keep coming back, and then more new people keep joining the stream. So it's something that's just going to happen the more you grow. You're not going to be able to have those like one-on-one connections anymore, but that's when you have to involve the community as a whole, which is why I love custom games so much, because people want to play with me. I don't know why. They want to play with a streamer, whatever it is. And I can't. There's only 5 people I can fit in pubs, for example, right?
Hmm.
And so more people want to play. How do I make everybody happy and at the same time I have fun, because that's why I'm doing it for. That's why I try to run customs. I play games where I'm able to run customs, and I bring as many people as I can together. And we have things like Simon Says. We have community events like the Warrior Clan games, which is something I started, right? I have them put on the show, and I just give battle passes to whoever wins. So I try to make it that way where I'm giving back to the community for them spending their time watching me do whatever I want to do. And it does get difficult to know them one to one, but it's just something that's unfortunately going to happen. But you know you still have to stay genuine through all that. You have to be honest and upfront. You can't tell people like, oh, don't worry, like I'm going to be able to know every single one of you. Like, it's impossible to say that. You can't say that when you're first starting, absolutely, because that's going to be your core community. And that's why even these bigger streamers, instantly a mod comes into their chat, they know who that person is, because those people were there from the start.
Hmm.
Or their content creator friends that blew up as well. Like, they know those original people from the start. But I promise you, all these huge streamers, they don't know every single person anymore, and it's going to be impossible for them to do it. But Nick Merckx, for example, he does it on a bigger scale than what I can do, right? He has those Nick Merck events at stadiums where he allows all his community to come and like hang out with them. So there's things that you can do. Obviously that's like the top tier S tier streamer and what they're able to do. But as a smaller streamer, the bigger you grow, involve your community in games. And obviously it's very tempting to be like, oh, you know what, no, you guys have to watch me play a video game, and that's that. But um it's getting way more difficult in this day and age with so many competitive streamers, to be a streamer like that. So you have to switch it up a little bit, and you have to involve the community a lot more, and stay genuine with that.
Yeah, and then one final one. Uh, I guess like everyone, you could say that's interested in like the streaming aspect always thinks about wanting to do that sort of thing. What in your particular case pushed you past wanting to do it and just deciding to go ahead and do it?
Like going like into
Like just
streaming.
yeah, to become a content creator yourself.
Right, right, right. So this is going to be a little bit of a deep story, but just bear with me, right? Maybe what, 4 years ago, There was a relationship I was in that ended pretty bad, but I ended up like giving myself up for that person, right? So I gave up gaming, I gave up collecting stuff, I gave up everything that basically identified who I was as a person, you know. So I was like, man, I really, now that I broke it off with this person, I want to rediscover the hobbies that I had back then, and maybe chase some dreams that I've always wanted to chase, and I can put my full attention to, you know. So that's what finally pushed me. I'm like, you know what? I want to make content. I've always wanted to make content. I want to, do something for me. When that whole relationship was me doing something for someone else, and trying to build them up, instead I've wanted to build myself back up to what I used to be, and build up all my hobbies. And I'm like, you know what? The best way that I know I can put myself or get addicted to gaming is streaming them, because I wanted to talk to people about video games, but I didn't have anybody to talk to about video games with. Like, a lot of my friends went away. Obviously, I don't talk to that person in the relationship anymore. So I'm like, how am I going to be able to find people like me that enjoy the same game that I do? And like, it hit me. I'm like, I've always wanted to make videos. I've always wanted to stream. So I started just streaming video games. Started with Fortnite because I fell in love with that game. Me and my little brother and sister played it all the time, and I'm like, it'd be cool to find more like-minded people that want to play the same game that I enjoy and that I love. And that's why I started streaming. And that's why I started really streaming a lot. Especially to get my mind off of what had happened in that relationship. So that was the main thing. Like, I wanted to rediscover myself and like all the hobbies and everything I used to enjoy doing before they went away.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
That's actually an awesome story. So
Yeah, that's
you can
great.
you really can say something good came out of a bad situation.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, Christ does everything for a reason, brother. And that relationship wasn't supposed to continue on. And from that, we're here now.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of the biggest blessings I've ever had, having this ability to not only build a community, but as a man of faith, I'm able to even spread the gospel a little bit here and there. So I truly believe that that had to happen, you know. And so not only did God allow me to rediscover who I was, now He's using me, which is something I love.
Awesome. All right, Warrior, are you ready to step into the gulag?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I mean, we've been there many times before.
Uh, Me more than you, but
This is the Gulag. In here, you fight to win back your life.
gulag is basically 5 random questions that I just sort of thought off the top of my head. We could do rapid fire, or if you want to take your time and answer it slowly, that's okay with me too. Look, there's no rules in the gulag, right?
Yep, no rules.
All right. So my very first question for the gulag is: if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Ooh, you know what? If I can, like,
Good one.
yeah, that's a very good one. If I could move my families and my friends to one area, oh man, I honestly would say El Salvador, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, El Salvador, especially with like everything that's happening over there with the new president. Like, it's become a very nice place to visit when it wasn't always the case. So I would
Nice.
definitely, the people there are so loving and like so welcoming. So it would probably be El Salvador, to be honest.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that answer. I like that answer. Number two: if you won $10 million today, what would you spend it on tomorrow?
Well, first I start off paying off all my debt, right? I get
Everybody's
rid
got
of
some
all
of
the debt
that.
instantly. Buy a house for sure. Nice house, pay it off fully, and then maybe buy a couple of new cars,
There we go.
right? Yeah,
What kind
and
of
then
car? What kind of
Yeah,
car
I
would
was gonna
you?
say what kind of car?
Lamborghini. That's the dream
Oh,
car for me
okay.
right there, bro. The Lambo. I gotta get it. I'm gonna make it happen, man. Watch.
Mine is a Corvette Stingray.
Okay, that's a beauty too. That's a
Yeah.
beauty too. Nerd neck, what's your favorite? What would be your car, bro?
Oh man, I don't know. So
Yeah,
many.
Honda
My
Civic.
dad really likes us.
Honda Civic.
Yeah. Honda Odyssey 2008, probably not. Man, I
Oh,
don't
no
know.
way.
I don't know. I really
But
like
yeah,
newer cars. My dad likes older cars.
nice,
I
nice.
don't know. I'd
Yeah.
probably say that's what my dad, a split window Corvette, probably something like that. One of the old ones,
Okay.
a
The
rare
T
car.
Okay.
tops.
I think so.
Yeah. 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 Too young for those, right? Yeah, I would do that, and then of course like help my family pay everything they owe off too. That'd be
Nice.
the main
Got
thing.
to take care of the fam,
And
right?
yeah, got to
Always,
take care of the
always.
fam, man. And then maybe final thing, probably opening up a church. Believe it or not, that's one of my
Nice.
dreams. Yeah, one of my dreams
Would you
for
be the
sure.
pastor?
Probably not. I mean, that'd be great, but
Hmm.
no, probably not. I'd have to undergo a lot of training for that.
Yeah.
So if I could, I would.
All right. Question number 3: if you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh, dang. It's funny because you catch me at a moment where I am very limited into what I can eat. So everything sounds amazing to me right now. Um, man, chat asks me this all the time, bro. And
Really?
I always have to think about this. I would say, honestly, yeah, I think pupusas, right?
I was gonna say mine would probably be pupusas.
Because here's the thing, there's so many different types of things you could put inside a pupusa, so they
Hmm.
always taste different.
Hmm.
But you could say the same with pizza, though.
This is true. Pizza's
So
fantastic.
it's like in between those two, bro. I would say pupusas because it's just more satisfying for me.
It really is. Matt, have you ever had one?
No.
You need to experiment.
Oh man,
They're
Where do I
absolutely.
delicious.
find one? You got a
I,
spot
I'll
for
get
me?
you one. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll
All
send it
right.
to you later.
All right. All right.
There's a good
Hmm.
spot here in the city that we get our pupusas from.
Fire.
All right. Question number 4: if you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what is one piece of advice you would give?
Find the Lord much earlier. Focus on it way more. Though at 18, I kind of dip my toes in it a little bit more. I would definitely give myself the advice to trust in Him
Hmm.
and just follow Him a lot more and open your heart up way more because it would have helped you with so many things in life. Um, that would be the biggest piece of advice I would give myself for sure.
Nice. All right, and the very last question, number 5, is how would you personally describe your content?
Loud. Loud. I am a mixture of I would say a commentator that's trying to make everything super hype and a pretty skilled player. So a lot of loudness, a lot of hilarious moments. Um, yeah, I would say loud would probably be the biggest one word description for my content,
Love it. I love it.
but not
So that,
obnoxious.
not obnoxious.
Yeah,
We can be loud, but not obnoxious. I agree with
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
And that is the gulag. I think you've made it out.
We
I
made
think
it out
you.
of the gulag. Yep.
I think you're parachuting back in.
Yep. No
Yeah.
more
Bunny
second
hop.
chances.
Bunny hopped out of there, huh? Little
Oh
slide
my-
canceling left and right.
and then before we go, I just wanted to see if you had any final words you wanted to say.
Yes.
Let's see. Yeah. If you're thinking of getting into content again, you have to do it for the right reasons. You can't picture a you can't paint a picture of you succeeding instantly. It takes years. I'm 4 years in, and I'm still growing, and like it doesn't happen overnight. The best. What was that one saying? Overnight success doesn't happen overnight. It takes a while for out of nowhere you realize, whoa, I'm streaming to hundreds of people now, thousands of people.
Hmm.
It takes a while, so you got to be patient, and it's a good test. That's why a lot of people don't make it after the first year because it's tough to stream to no one.
Yeah.
And then the other big piece of advice would be like, if you would not want to stream to no one first, focus on making VODs and short form content. Don't focus on streaming. Streaming can come later.
Hmm.
I would recommend, I would say, make YouTube videos, make YouTube shorts, TikTok short form videos, Facebook reels. Focus on making something where you don't need to, put yourself where you start thinking like, man, nobody wants to watch me because I'm so boring. It's like, no, nobody wants to watch you because first of all, a lot of people decide to stream on Twitch first, and there's no algorithm there.
Hmm.
Nobody's gonna find you with how many streamers are there. So you
Right.
have to, try to put your videos everywhere. Allow an algorithm to work for you, and then you will start finding people, and then maybe consider streaming.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Warrior. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
our
Thank
very
you.
first guest
Yes.
of the Lost
Very.
Sports Podcast.
Yes.
It's my pleasure, man. God bless you guys. I'm glad you guys
Thank
wanted to
you.
have me here.
Absolutely. We had to. We had to.
Mm,
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I have to join, and I'm definitely gonna
Yeah.
be telling everybody to go gas this video up.
Love it. Love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh man.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks, Warrior.
All right. Thank you so
anytime.
much.
You guys have a good night, man. Take care.
You as
And
well.
that'll be it for episode 4 of the Lost
Episode 4.
Soul podcast. Let's go. As always, socials down below. Warrior socials will also be down below.
They
Thanks
will.
for watching. Please consider following. We're definitely gonna have another episode this week for you guys. With somebody to talk about the Cubs a little bit more with us, a little bit of the Sox as well, and just baseball in general, as well as a little touch of the CDL on episode 5 of the Lost Bowl podcast. I'm Nerd Neck. This is my co-host Neutral Bronx. See
We're
you
out.
next time.